Welcome back. If it's Wednesday, it means we've got some election results. But first, a race from last Tuesday, 8 days ago, was just decided last night. Washington State Republican incumbent member of Congress, Jamie Herrera Butler, who voted to impeach President Trump, one of 10 House Republicans to do that, will not advance to the general election in the state's top two primary system. Her Trump-backed challenger, Joe Kent, eked out the second-place finish. As of right now, just 2 of the 10 House Republicans who backed impeachment will definitely be on the ballot in November. The only remaining wild card is Liz Cheney, whose primary is next week. Now, in last night's races, Republicans won a special election in Minnesota, holding on to that seat. However, it was a 4-point margin in a district Donald Trump won by 10 points. So it suggests that Republicans may have less of an advantage in November, especially after the Supreme Court decision on abortion. This is actually the second straight special election where Democrats have overperformed in a pretty solid Republican district. There was a special in Nebraska just after Dobbs that showed a similar finding. Now, Minnesota is also now the latest state where the Republican running to oversee the next presidential election has backed former President Trump's false claims about the last one. Kim Crockett, who called the 2020 election rigged and a train wreck, officially won her party's nomination for Secretary of State. Obviously, Minnesota still somewhat leans blue, particularly in midterm years. In Wisconsin, a mixed bag for Trump's preferred candidates. The State House Speaker, Robin Vos, who was targeted late in this election cycle by Trump for not pursuing his election conspiracies enough. He pursued them some, but not enough for Donald Trump. Vos was able to narrowly win his primary against a Trump-backed challenger. But in the gubernatorial primary, the Republicans nominated Trump's choice, Tim Michels, to take on incumbent Governor Tony Evers. For what it's worth, Michels was not as Trumpy as some of the other Trump-backed candidates in other states on that front. In the Senate primary, as expected, Democrats nominated Lieutenant Governor Mandela Barnes to take on the incumbent Republican senator there, Ron Johnson, in what promises to be one of the cycle's marquee matchups in the fight for control of the Senate. Wisconsin, arguably the most polarized state in the nation, and has given us 2 candidates who certainly will fire up their bases. Folks, with these Wisconsin primaries in the books, most of the big races of the fall are set. We're basically missing the state of Florida, and that comes in 2 weeks. And I think we've learned anything from these primary fights in the last couple of months. It's that the midterms in November are going to be unlike any other midterm we've had in a generation in American politics. This is a much different scenario than any of us thought we were signing up for when this year began. Joining me now, our man in Big Ten country these days is Shaquille Brewster. So, Shaq, you spent a lot of time in Wisconsin. You've done it multiple cycles now. It feels like Wisconsin is a never-ending political battle, whether in a primaries, sometimes between inside the parties, or between the two parties. It feels like we should expect more of the same.
Yeah, when you hear from the candidates, everyone expects it to be close. This is a purple state. This is a state that gets national attention, and you'll have a flood of national money money coming into. You know, one thing that we heard from Governor Evers earlier today, he told me that he expects the margin this time around in his battle against Tim Michels to be as tight as it was 4 years ago when he beat Governor Scott Walker. That margin, Chuck, was about 1 percentage point. So we are in for a big battle. And then you mentioned on the Democratic side, for that Senate nomination, Mandela Barnes getting the nomination there, but will now face Ron Johnson, who, yes, is behind in polling, is not favorable right now when you look at those poll numbers. But he's someone, when he won the past 2 elections here, the past 2 cycles, he overperformed and was able to eke by. We'll see what happens in November, Chuck. It's going to be close, and that's what everyone's telling us.
I'll tell you, it does. You know, one thing about Ron Johnson is it's pretty clear now, 2 cycles in a row, that his supporters don't always tell pollsters that they support him. Hey, very quickly, on the Scott Walker front. Scott Walker, this was not a proxy fight between Trump and Pence. This was a proxy fight between Trump and his one-time presidential primary foe, Scott Walker. Scott Walker was very aggressive in helping Rebecca Clayfish here. What does this mean for Walker's hold on the Wisconsin Republican Party now?
Yeah, Chuck, he was extremely aggressive. We're not just talking about radio ads, but television ads where he was talking directly to camera. You also had him flying across the state with Rebecca Clayfish. You know, that was something I asked him. If we woke up Wednesday morning and his preferred candidate didn't win, what did that mean for the party and what did that mean for his legacy? And he tried to downplay it, saying that it's about conservatives and he would still back Michaels. But that's an open question now. I mean, it's very clear. This is Trump's party. You mentioned the speaker, the Assembly Speaker, Robin Voss. He did win his primary, but he only won it by about 200 votes, Chuck. It is going to be extremely close here.
You know, Scott Walker's, what he just went through with Donald Trump might be a lesson for a guy named Ron DeSantis in Florida. Be careful, no matter how big of a fish you think you are in your state, you never know when the kingfish shows up. Shaquille Brewster in Wisconsin. Shaq, thank you.